This ship costs over $200 million. It's longer than 4 football fields, taller than city buildings, and heavier than 7 Eiffel Towers combined. Inside it, there's an engine so large that workers can walk inside it like a hallway, a fuel tank big enough to hold 6 Olympic swimming pools, and a propeller as tall as a double-story house, spinning slowly beneath the ocean. But here's the part that sounds impossible. This floating giant was not built by robots alone. It was built by 10,000 human beings working day and night, racing against time, precision, and physics itself. Every steel block had to align within millimeters. One mistake, and months of work would collapse into scrap. And they didn't build just one. They built 9 of these monsters in just 2 years. Why? Because the world depends on ships like this, even though most people will never see one up close. Because 90% of everything you use right now crossed an ocean inside a vessel like this. This is not just a ship. This is one of the most ambitious engineering projects humans have ever attempted. And today, you're going inside it. Out in the open ocean, far away from cities, borders, and headlines, something enormous moves silently across the water. It doesn't look fast, it doesn't look dramatic. But this single machine is carrying more economic power than entire countries. This is not a warship, not a cruise ship, not even an oil tanker. This is one of the largest container ships ever built, a floating city of steel powered not by traditional fuel, but by liquefied natural gas. It cost over $200 million. It required 10,000 workers. It pushed modern engineering to its limits. And yet, almost nobody knows how ships like this are actually built. Today, we're going inside one of the most ambitious construction projects of the modern age, to understand how humans built a machine so large that mistakes aren't measured in centimeters, but millimeters. We live in a digital world. Everything feels instant or online shopping, one-day delivery, global brands. But beneath all of it lies a hidden truth. 90% of everything you use traveled by sea. Your phone, your clothes, your food packaging, your car. At any given moment, more than 38,000 cargo ships are moving across the world's oceans. That's not a typo, 38,000. If airplanes connect people, ships connect civilization. But shipping is expensive, fuel is costly. Pollution regulations are tightening, and canals like Panama and Suez physically limit how large ships can become. So the race is no longer about making ships bigger. It's about making them smarter, cleaner, and more efficient. That's where this ship comes in. A French shipping company, CMA-CGM, made a bold decision. They didn't just want another mega ship. They wanted to build the largest eco-friendly container ship on Earth. A ship that doesn't run on heavy fuel oil. A ship that doesn't poison the air. A ship that could cross continents with dramatically lower emissions. The solution? Liquefied natural gas, LNG. Compared to traditional ship fuel, LNG produces 99% less sulfur emissions, 91% fewer air pollutants, around 20% less carbon dioxide. But switching to LNG wasn't easy, because LNG must be stored at extremely low temperatures. If it warms up, it turns back into gas. If it leaks, everything stops. So CMA-CGM wasn't just building a ship. They were building a floating cryogenic system wrapped inside 400 meters of steel. And not one ship, 9 in just 2 years. To pull this off, they chose one of the largest shipyards on Earth. A shipyard so big it stretches 4 kilometers long. From above, it doesn't look like a factory. It looks like a city under construction. More than 6,000 to 10,000 workers rotate through this place. Welders to engineers, crane operators, electricians, inspectors. Every worker has one small task. And every task must be perfect. Because when you're building something this large, there is no room for error. Normally, building one ship takes 18 months. So how do you build 9 ships in 2 years? You don't build ships, you build blocks. Instead of constructing the vessel as one piece, engineers break it into hundreds of massive sections. Each section is a block. Some are the size of a room. Others are as tall as apartment buildings. Inside each block, pipes are already installed. Electrical wiring is in place. Ventilation systems are fitted. By the time a block is moved, it's already almost finished. This is modular construction at an extreme scale. Everything begins with steel. Thousands of steel sheets, each one specially treated to resist corrosion from salt water. For a single ship, 12,660 steel sheets are needed. They are cut using laser beams hotter than the surface of the sun. The temperature reaches 18,000 degrees. Steel melts instantly. Over 880 kilometers of steel cuts are made for just one ship. That's longer than the distance between major cities. Some blocks weigh 790 tons. That's heavier than 2 locomotives. To lift them, shipyards use giant synchronized cranes. 2 cranes move together with computer-controlled precision. If a block is misaligned by 1 millimeter, welding becomes impossible. And once blocks are placed, the real work begins. A container ship may look smooth from the outside, but inside it's held together by welds, a lot of them. For this ship, 250 kilometers of welding. Every weld is inspected because the ocean doesn't forgive mistakes. At the heart of the ship lies its engine. This isn't a car engine. This isn't even a power plant. This engine is so large that workers can walk inside it. It drives a propeller as tall as a 2-story building. Starting this engine consumes 100,000 liters of fuel instantly. And this is where LNG changes everything. The LNG tank is the most dangerous and complex part of the ship. It must keep fuel at 162 to C. It must never leak. And it must survive ocean storms. This tank holds 18,000 cubic meters of LNG, that's 20 million liters. Enough to fill 6 Olympic swimming pools. To build it, engineers layer insulation like a giant thermos flask. It took 9 months just to build this tank. Then came testing. High-tech systems are tested with a surprisingly simple method. Soap water engineers apply soap solution to joints. Then they create a vacuum. If bubbles appear, there's a leak. One leak means disaster, so they test. And test again. This ship isn't just steel. It's a symbol of how global trade adapts, of how engineering evolves, of how humans solve problems at absurd scale. Without ships like this, global prices rise, supply chains break, economies stall. This ship doesn't carry people. It carries civilization, thousands of workers, thousands of shifts, years away from families, every bolt tightened by hand, every weld inspected by eye. This is human labor at its most extreme, not glamorous, not famous, but essential. When this ship finally leaves the shipyard, there's no celebration, no applause. It simply slides into the water and disappears into the horizon. Silent, massive, necessary. The next time you order something online, remember this ship. Because without it, the modern world stops moving.